Find the domain and the range and tell whether this could be a function or not. We have 4 graphs and a set of numbers. When you are given a set of numbers, a set of locations that would be on a graph, the domain is going to be all of your x's. And your range is going to be all of your y's. And it will be only those because we have only these specific points. So that's going to follow for both this and this, because we have only these specific points. But when you get to these, we have a line. So we're going to have a range of numbers, a bunch of numbers. So looking at this one, the domain is the set of numbers 4, 1, -5, -2. Close my set. Now notice that each one of these is the first one in that set of parentheses. First one in that set. First one in that set. So that's my domain. My range is the set of numbers, the second one in the set. So 6, -2, I have a 6 again, so since I already have a 6 there, I don't need to write it a second time. And then -1. So these answers are correct, but they are not the best way of writing it. The best way of writing it would be to put the smallest number first. So this properly should be done as domain is the set of numbers. The smallest one in this set is the -5. Next smallest, -2. Next the +1, and then the +4. So that is the better answer. That's not saying this one's not correct, but this one is better. Over here, same thing. It would be better to put the smallest number first, next smallest, and then next smallest. So, depending on how strict your teacher is, for me, I don't care whether it's the messy way or the neat way, they're both correct. Some teachers will only accept it if it is in the proper order, smallest to largest. Looking at this example down here, we have only these specific points because we have only those dots in there. So my domain is going to be my x values of those. So my x value is my left and right. So I start with my -2, my -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. And close my domain. Close my set. My range is going to be the y values of these. So that's my up and down. So going from my bottom to my top, first time I see anything, it's going to be right here, and that's at -1. Going on up, next time I see something is right there, that's at +1. Continuing up, all of these are at +1, all of those were at -1. There's nothing else that I see. So I close my set. And notice that these are in order from smallest to greatest, least to greatest. Smallest to largest, least to greatest. Looking at this one. when you have a graph, the first thing you want to do for your domain is figure out where is the first spot that you see it. So as I go from left to right, because I'm looking at my x's first, the first time that I see it, it has an arrow on it. So that means it continues on and on and on, goes to negative infinity. So I'm going to write that down. We're going to write this with interval notation, so we need to use parentheses and brackets, or braces as we used braces over here. So infinity always gets the parentheses. Continuing on, I see my line continues, there's no break in it, no breaks at all in it, and when I see it at the end over here, it has an arrow saying that it keeps going in that direction. So that is going to be the positive infinity. And infinity always gets the parentheses. So that was my x's. X's is your domain. The range. That's going to be my y's. So I start at the bottom and I go up. So the first time I see it is right here. And it has the arrow saying that it keeps going down. So again, this is giving me my negative infinity. Infinity, whether positive or negative, always gets the parentheses. I'm continuing up. So I see it there, keep going. There's no break in it. It's a continuous line. Last time I see it, it has an arrow on it telling me parentheses or positive infinity. So there's my domain and range for that one. Looking at example number 3 here of the graphs. I'm looking for my x's first for my domain. So I'm going from left to right. As I see it, first time I see it, the line, it has an arrow on it telling me that it keeps going up and up and up and over and over and over. So my domain here is going to be infinity in the negative direction. So I need my parentheses and then infinity. Looking at my domain, so I'm still going from left to right. There's no breaks in it. I keep going. Last time I see my line, it has an arrow on it telling me it keeps going to positive infinity. So that gets the parentheses on it. Now we go to range. Range is my x value, so I go from the bottom to the top. So as I go from the bottom, I don't see my line at all anywhere. I go up to here, and that's the first spot where I see my line. And that is at y equals -2. Now I have to figure out, do I want to use the round parentheses or do I want to use the square brace? Bracket. I am going to use the square bracket. It's a curly brace, square bracket. Comma. As I go on up further and further, okay, so there's the first time I saw it, continuing up. Last time I see it, it has the arrow on it. That tells me it keeps going, so that's telling me that it's going up to infinity. And infinity always gets the round parentheses. Looking at my last example over there, looking at my x's, my domain, as I go from left to right, the first time I see it, it has the arrow on it. So my domain going to be the negative infinity, comma. I go from left to right, looking at my x's. Last time I see it, it's right there. And anything beyond there, I don't see my equation line at all. So right there is going to be my last spot. Now I have to figure out what that is. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 4. I'm going to assume that it actually can equal 4. Now I look for my range. Range is my y values, so I go from the bottom to the top. Going up, first time I see my line, it has the arrow, so that's telling me infinity. So negative infinity, comma. Continuing up, the line does not break, it's a solid continuous line. Last time I see it, it has the arrow, that's telling me positive infinity. So those are my domains and ranges. Now I have to answer, could these be functions? Well, to see if it's a function, the first thing you have to do is check to see, does your x repeat in your list of numbers here? We had 4 things here, and no repeats in the x, so yes, this is a function. And I'm going to abbreviate function. Looking at this one down here, I can do my vertical line test because I'm given a graph. So if I do my vertical line test, it's either 0 times it touches or 1 time it touches. There is no point on here where it touches a dot twice with a vertical line. So this one is also yes, it's a function. Looking at this one, I do my vertical line test. So I'm looking for, does this touch my equation line more than 1 time? It does not. So my answer here is yes. Looking at this one, other than being a poorly drawn line, it does not touch more than once. So this one is also yes. Looking at this last one over here, if I draw a line down here, I see I have a spot there and a spot there where my vertical line touches my equation line 2 times, so my answer is no.